Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese, episode 562. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week, no games. Or is it all games? Stay tuned and find out. It's the halfway point through the season. And we're going to look back, look forward. We're going to talk about the games we've played so far. We're going to talk about our time spent with our brand new video game consoles that we purchased in 2024. Tease a little bit of what's to come for the rest of the season. But first, Matt, I'd like to know, which game have we played this year on the list that you wish had a PSP port?
Easy answer is WarioWare.
Very good.
I think Zone of the Enders could be weird because they wouldn't do like a straight port. They would do they would throw a twist in there.
Yeah, I'm with you. It would have been a weird, without having the right stick, it would have been a weird conversion. They would have done something strange. And we saw what they did with Zone of the Enders portably in the GBA game, but yeah, Zone of the Enders was my choice, for sure. To be a little unconventional, I kind of think I would have liked to have seen the Gravity Rush team do something on PSP, but then again, they were part of Studio Japan, or Japan Studio, so they did a lot on PSP. And prior to PSP, they did last week's Ape Escape as well, so, you know, I don't know. But yeah, PSP's, I'm excited to talk more about PSP and hear more of your experience as we go on with this week's episode. But first, Matt, and before we check in on the list, how is Ring Fit Adventure going?
Oh man, it was going so good in January.
Yeah.
So I was doing this correctly. I eased myself into like this 6 a.m. morning ritual, and I did it didn't even start Ring Fit. I was just getting myself used to waking up at that time. I started I would wake up at 6 and just lay in bed till the first week was 7, and slowly get to 6:30 and 6. I was getting me used to waking up, and then I was all right, once I'm used to it, then Ring Fit is the next step. I got there, and we were killing it, I think, for 2 weeks at least, maybe even 3. Yeah. And then I got sick, and it threw everything off. And it was right around my birthday I got sick, too. So, it was right at the end of January, and then I've never got myself back into the sleeping habit. And what was nice at that time, I was doing a little bit more work from home right as I got sick was when I was transitioning back to office, and that's the other reason why I can't get myself up at 6, because, yeah. Yeah,
I didn't have the exact same... Yeah, no, yeah. I had the same, in the build-up to the recording, I was pretty good about, get up, do it, whatever. And, what happened with me the first time through Ring Fit was... I told you, almost every day through the end of 2019 and through 2020. I was doing it that was my workout every day. I think through the entirety of 2020, I closed my Apple Watch rings every day. But I've since stopped wearing an Apple Watch, so that, motivator to, close the ring hasn't kept me active. And at some point, I just got bored with what Ring Fit Adventure was doing, because I'd seen through the end of it and all of that, and I moved on. I was riding a bike instead, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff, and I don't know. Do you think you'll get back into it?
It's gonna be tough. There's a chance, but I'm not banking on it.
I'm right with you. I've done other things since then, but I've not gone back to it. And I don't know that I will. If it weren't for the upcoming episode, do you think you'd ever return to it?
Yeah, I always have that inclination to try to get back into it. because it's a good tool and it's like the thing that gets me to do it. But I just have this thing about like the idea of working out. I can't get past in my head for some reason. I just can't get the motivation to, because I'm never gonna do it after work. I have to do it in the morning.
Yes. The only thing I'll do after work is like go for a walk or something like that. You know what I mean? But like I'm not gonna work out. I can't do any of that. I'm with you on that. It's got to be before work, and that's it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll check back in with Ring Fit later on in the year when we rank it. But for now, I don't know. We'll see. It is summer though, so I'm spending more time outside and doing things and whatever. It's just it's a time thing, right? And I just haven't made the time to dedicate to it, and I've prioritized other things over it. So, you know, I don't know. But I also think, like, for me, I'll say this in closing on Ring Fit. For me, getting into Ring Fit in the first place was a big proponent to just make lifestyle changes anyway. And that forced me to start paying more attention to everything. How much physical activity was I doing? What was I eating? What was I drinking? All of that stuff, like, Ring Fit did help with that. But now that I've kind of made those changes already and that's already part of my life, It's like, I don't need that part, you know? And like, I guess thankfully I'm active enough that I haven't like just massively gained weight, but I'm also, you know, not inherently.
I would for sure, like, I don't have the room for it. I mean, I guess I do, but I don't like room for a treadmill down here. I would definitely be one of those people that have like walk and play a video game.
Yeah.
At the same time, I would love to do like that weird thing where like you map your character to your walking as well, like to like imagine playing Elden Ring and you're running across the entire map like on a treadmill.
That stuff could be cool.
But yeah, no, that's
And I don't think I'm gonna go to a gym either.
Nah.
Again, it's just a time thing. There's too many games to play. I ain't got time to be out here working out. Speaking of games, let's talk about the games we played so far for Season 12. This is always a fun question to start with. Which game turned out to be a disappointment that you previously thought might be one of your favorites this year? These happen from time to time. The way we build our individual lists of games to add to the podcast list, we're often motivated by different things, namely, I think, curiosity or something like that, and they sometimes can turn out to be not so great. But for this season in particular, just with the games we've ranked, what's been disappointing?
I think Gravity Rush is my biggest disappointment this year.
Yeah.
And it happened so early in that game too. When I realized it was like open world, I was like, oof. And then it never got better after that either. It never proved it should have the open world.
It's true.
Yeah.
How about your favorite? What's been your favorite game we've played and ranked so far?
Favorite, I think, it's been Civilization. Yeah, that's just such a good game, and when you're in it, I was in it for quite a while, and I could easily see myself falling down a rabbit hole again at some point. So
it doesn't take much to pull you back in. I think, man, favorite's tough. Favorite's really tough.
Well, how about surprising? Was there one going in? Maybe not favorite, but like...
I think Demi Kids surprised me in how good it was. I thought that was going to be way more like throwaway Pokemon clone. This is a neat idea, but who cares? But it... I mean, it got me back into... multiple things. It got me back into Pokemon. and it got me into Persona 5 again. Like, I'd left Pokemon Violet hanging, and I left Persona 5 hanging, and like that propelled me to go right. I mean, obviously, we also played Pokemon Gold and Silver, so that didn't hurt with my Pokemon motivation. But yeah, I mean, Demi-Kids especially, that being like the first proper SMT game that I rolled credits on legitimately, I was like, all right, I could, I want to do more of these. I think also WarioWare is just always, it's always great, but I think the surprising part of that is like how high we ranked it so quickly, and just truly how good that game is. Because I think you think back to WarioWare, and for years we're always like, they should make another WarioWare. They should make that game's too good. They should always make that. Why are they not making one every year? And then like it becomes a thing where it's like I think when they do inevitably put Mother 3 out, it is not going to have the impact that it would have if people had just shut up and played the fan translation 15 years ago. And I think certain games can just build this sort of like status that they can never quite live up to. And WarioWare lived up to it, which I was impressed by. Syndicate 2, I know we ended up not like ranking it super, super high, but that one I didn't know what to expect from it. I'd never seen anything of that game, and I was just surprised overall by it. And Zone of the Enders, all of the cutscene stuff, I knew none of that. I knew none of like any of those characters or how like anime it was going to be. I knew it was anime in terms of like tone and spirit, but not like,
yeah,
the character designs were like cartoonish in a way. Yeah. I still don't know about favorite though. Looking back over everything. Outrun, I think, is just an easy one to always come back to and play. Ape Escape ended up being better than I thought it was going to be. I thought Ape Escape was going to be fine, but I ended up having a really good time with it. Yeah. We had our first listener submission game make the list in I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I'm glad I finally got to play through that one. So yeah. If you haven't been paying attention this season so far, we did something different. After 2 seasons of building this list, nothing had come close to knocking Wii Sports from the top of the list. So Matt and I intentionally, I guess things have come close. You're right. I saw the head nod. Things have come close, but they haven't done it, right? And so we entered this season with the intent of each of us pitching 2 games that would potentially dethrone Wii Sports. So we've dubbed them Wii Sports Killers, and they are Halo Combat Evolved, Super Mario Galaxy 2, Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver, and Tetris Effect Connected. Matt, of the Wii Sports Killers, do you think that one has a better chance than the others at pulling ahead in the ranking?
That's weird, because like all these games are super different, trying to do the same thing, I guess, for all intents and purposes. But like the weird thing here is like it's gonna be tough to compare these games to the top of the list when we get there, as it is. But like even against each other, they're all weird games. You got, Halo, first person shooter. Super Mario Galaxy 2 was 3D platformer. Pokemon's Pokemon. I feel like this is like his own category.
Yeah.
And then Tetris, which is a puzzle game at its core. So like we're all over the place. I think they're all very good. They're all very good.
No, they are.
I think the only one I'm at recording of this, I'm like almost done Pokemon. I think I'm playing Silver. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you are.
And then Super Mario Galaxy 2, I think I'm like probably at the halfway point, if not like quite there. That's the one I need to put more time into. But playing Halo and playing Tetris for as much as I have already, yeah, they're all very good games. Like,
yeah. I was like mowing the lawn or doing dishes or one of those things where your mind just wanders, and I started to think ahead throughout the schedule, and I was like, it's gonna suck so hard when we have to rank all, because I don't know. We'll know when we get there. We never know until we're in it. But
dude, as we descended more into madness this season, it is what it is.
Yeah, you just gotta let it roll. It's so funny. We've also been streaming a little bit this year. Once a month for the past 2 months. We got another stream coming up next week. How do you think it's been going so far?
Yeah, it's been good. I like the little approach to it.
Yeah, if you missed the streams, they're up archived on our YouTube page and on thefreecheese.com. But we took a look at the console ranking list we did last year, where we ranked 30 consoles. And during that conversation, kind of just realized how much more intimately we each were with the Genesis and Super Nintendo, respectively. So we flip-flopped, and Matt is showing me the ways of the Super Nintendo while I guide him through the Genesis. And we're just doing it one game at a time, with the intent of later on this year taking the games that we streamed and doing an episode where we rank all 4 of them. So we started with Super Strike Eagle for Super Nintendo, followed by Krusty Super Funhouse for Genesis. And yeah, it's been a different way to do it. And the thing I do, we just don't have the time. I mean, talk about not having time to work out. Like we just don't have time for this. But I do wish that with the podcast we had more of a visual element at times. It'd be nice if we had, like, you know, I always thought that it'd be cool as we're playing these games to just record, even locally, like not live stream or anything like that, but just like record ourselves playing it and just cut together some random footage to throw up as the background of the YouTube video while the podcast plays. Even if it's just nothing, it's still something for someone to look at who wants a visual thing. But even cutting that together is just extra time that we don't have. And it's also, like, difficult to capture some of the stuff that we're playing. Like, I got a lot of equipment now, but it's still, like, tedious to capture some of these older consoles. And some stuff, like Vita, like, we weren't capturing Gravity Rush unless I put a camera next to my, you know, hands while I'm playing that. Or we play the PS4 version, but that defeats the purpose. So, yeah. But being able to do these streams and do some other stuff has been fun. Do you think we keep doing that for a bit? Even beyond this season?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's something... The live stream thing, it's easy enough where, like, you know, you don't have to cut it together. Like, yes, there's assets to be made and a little bit of rehearsal.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, you do it in a moment, you're done, and, you know, doing it once a month is fine, and we don't even do it for that long. Like, we shoot for an hour, but realistically, I think we've gone closer to 90 minutes each time.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah, you're right. Like, the not having to edit thing is so, like, that was the only downside to, like, when we would do the wrestling videos, because we'd record for a bit, and I was cutting in fake commercials, so I'd have to, yeah,
because you were cutting out the menu stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of that.
Way.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of those older videos we did a lot of post that was tough, because we were also recording audio and video separately because we wanted to use the better microphones, so syncing all that was a pain. This is a much more straightforward approach in terms of a production, which that's been nice. Yeah, a little bit of setup to do the framing and the art stuff, but that's a couple hours at most, and then we're all set. Do you think there are games that make better sense for the list and games that make better sense for a stream?
Yes, absolutely. Especially the way we do streaming, because it's very hard to see an entire game in an hour and a half at max.
Yeah.
So, like, the streaming games have to be something... I'm not, like, aiming necessarily for it, but, like, I keep it in mind where it's, like, you want to see where, like, see the basic mechanics of the game, and, like, you can easily see where it could go in 90 minutes. Like, the list, you know, we got stuff coming up like later in the year that is a lot more expansive. I'm trying to think, like, I feel like Daikatana is a good example. Like, that's not something you would see the whole game of in 90 minutes, because each level is a different experience almost, and you need to get to level 8 to see how San Francisco feels.
Right, yeah, and yeah, you can't just do that and then it'll be fine. We got it,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Separately from the list, we talked about some of the things we've liked and surprises along the way, but just 2024 so far, what have you played? What have been your top 3 things this year?
I haven't played like a ton outside of the list, mostly because I've been stuck in Final Fantasy Rebirth land for what felt like forever.
Yeah.
What was my final hour? Like 70 hours just for like the main quest. Like a lot of the side stuff.
Yeah.
And then the main quest. But yeah, like I was in it, but man, I loved it. Well worth the wait. I mean, there's some the Chadley is probably the I don't know, it was like the best and worst part of the game. Like, Chadley gives you like every side quest. And some of the side quests are fun. Some of them get repetitive, but like, he's just chiming in after every one you do. He's just like, "Hey, thank you for doing that. We now know this." It is what it is.
Yeah.
But no, I think where they're going, I definitely see the deviations, but I also see the the core storytelling. I knew it's like that typical, this is going to be a trilogy, so like the middle movies always seems to be like as the fodder to save the best for the end.
Yeah.
And I don't think we necessarily got that, because where they end is pretty impactful in the regular game. So
yeah.
So yeah, seeing how they handled like that was interesting, and where they're going, and how like they're fulfilling that. What did Nomura say, or is that the right person? The director, like, didn't the director say like, this? Don't think of it as a remake. Think of this as just like another chapter within Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
At some point, like, it's interesting how you take those words and how Rebirth played and where they're going with stuff. So yeah, no, that was fun. But no, like, then before that, like, to dumb to get ready for 7, I was playing 14. I got through.
Right.
I got through A Realm Reborn. I got like halfway through Heaven's Ward. That was like in January. I was able to get through that. I was having fun with that. It's just like we got right up to Rebirth time, and I didn't feel like spending another month just to play for 4 days. So
yeah.
But like the most recent one, that's not PSP related. I went back and finally replayed the first game in the Nier series, Nier Replicant. Well, I know that's the remaster, but yes, Nier Replicant. I just got done finishing that, seeing all the endings. Yeah, I'm glad I went back to that, and it got me back into Automata. So I've been playing that again. Not quite as quickly as I was playing through Replicant, but playing through that. And the first time I played Automata, it was right against the wall of Game of the Year, so it was a lot of like main story chasing, which that game, like the main story, if you just chase that, I still think it's like a 9 out of 10 game. Like, get into Replicant stuff, and then there's just been like a few like zingers, like one-liners that I'm just like, oh, all right, I see what you said there now. I understand.
Yeah.
And then
sorry, it's like, I remember when Devila and Popola showed up playing Automata, I was like, who are these twins? But I've heard from other people who'd played Nier before that they saw them and they were like,
yeah.
Like, and now, yeah, I get it, of course.
But like, so like, for instance, like, they're in the camp of the Resistance camp the entire time.
Oh, right.
They hang out in the background, and I forgot about that until I started playing. I got to the back, and I was like, oh, there they are. That's I have to get to like C to see them. So yeah,
it's a cool.
Yeah. Well, no, they pop up. They pop up in A, but like they don't become like a major factor until the run C. But no, you saw them in the background, like there they are. And then there's been little dumb one-liners and stuff like that. Yeah, but no, it's your replicant. That was a interesting. Another one where you just like, oh, all right, that's a cool story. And then like just at every ending, just another layer of the onion. And by the time of it, you just feel nothing but depression and anger and emptiness and loneliness and every sad emotion you could evoke from a video game. You just kind of sit there.
So stoked to see what else he makes.
Yeah. And then the replicant had the added ending E, which I don't want to say like it leads into Automata, but there's some like themes that you start to get that blend into it. But I was saying of like those are probably like the three big ones I played outside the list for an extended period of time, but they're all equally good.
Yeah, you talking about Replicant and Automata lately has had me considering, because I never played like the Switch version of Automata, and I was like, should I just buy that and play through like do it that way? I don't know. I still might. I feel like that port turned out to be okay, but you got me itching for more of that. I don't know if this is top three, but the three I think of that I've spent the most time with outside of the list were Pokemon Violet, Marvel's Midnight Suns, and Persona 5 Royal. With Royal, I've gone from 50 hours to now, at the time of this recording, I'm in the final Royal Palace. All I've got to do is clear it and then wait for the end of the game, and I should be all set. But I'm at like 130 hours, and that's just been since like March. And it's good. I'm very happy to finally see through the end of that game. I started that in 2020, so it's like been a long time coming. Marvel's Midnight Suns was one that I got. I ran back through Marvel's Spider-Man and got the platinum in that just before Spider-Man 2 came out last fall. And I had like a couple of days difference between me doing that and Spider-Man 2 coming out. And I was like, I don't need to, I can play something else. And then I saw Midnight Suns was on sale, and I was like, well, I'm itching for another Marvel thing. I'll just do this. And I bought it and I started playing it, and I was like, I really don't like, the core combat is great, but I really hate all the other stuff. And then Spider-Man 2 came out. I did that, and I kind of did not go back to Midnight Suns. And then I went back to it this year and ended up loving all of the side stuff, all of the stupid stuff where you run around the abbey that you're staying in, and like it's still cheesy and whatever, but I just embraced it, and I had a much better time embracing it rather than dreading it. I had so much fun customizing my team and my decks and all of that, just seeing that game all the way through. I had a lot of fun with that. And Pokemon Violet, I haven't completed a Pokedex in like a decade, but I did it again.
Hot damn. I didn't realize you completed the Pokedex in that game.
Oh yeah, dude. I caught fire with that game. I did that, and I don't know, man. I had a really, really good time with Violet. It's still, I think, the technical shortcomings and the stuff that sucks. But I, in my experience, never had any crashes or really, really bad slowdown or any of that stuff. I just think, like, overall, you know, I think when you look at it side by side with things, it definitely stands out, and it's like a stark, like, ugh. But when you're in it, you really don't notice that stuff. And I think it is the, oh man, I can't even get the sentence out. I'm not stuttering. I'm like, do I make this proclamation? I think it's the best Pokemon game they've ever made. Like, they've stripped out all of the, like, tedium, right? Like, we're playing through Gold and Silver. Like, a lot of the stuff where you need to have, like, someone that knows Surf and someone that knows, like, all that stuff, it's been gone for a while. It's not Violet that did this, but I just think the other stuff that made Pokemon sometimes feel like, ugh, they've really pulled all that out. They've done a lot to just like make it fun in every, like, there's, I don't remember a part in the game where I was like, ugh, I don't want to do this. Obviously you have to like catching and fighting and all that stuff, but like they've made all of that stuff fun to do, and exploring is fun. You're usually rewarded when you wander off somewhere. Yeah, doing all the like the legendaries in that game was really cool. They all had like really neat stories behind them and like this weird mythology. Pokemon Violet and Scarlet are pretty cool. I didn't do the DLC yet. I'm saving that stuff. But yeah, it was a good time. We've also been having a good time. You talked about the PSP. We went, speaking of the console ranking from last year, in the wake of that, we kind of looked at the list of consoles we'd ranked, and Matt and I both picked out consoles we wish we'd had more time with personally. And we bought them. So when we recorded the beginning episode, the episode 538, we had not gone to buy them yet, right?
No.
We just identified what we wanted and all of that. We'd not actually gone. So we did go. In this segment, we're going to talk about what we bought, how it's been going, all of that stuff. I think what I'd like to do is just split the discussion between, I'll let you go and then I'll go. I've got questions I want to ask, but that way let's focus on one at a time, because I feel like volleying back and forth can be weird when we're talking about two different consoles. So looking at PSP, which model did you buy? And
I
why?
got 3000.
Yeah.
I got that hot pink one, like that bright. It's not hot pink, but it's that glossy pink. Very reminiscent.
Blossom? Is that the official?
Yeah, I think if I remember, it's very reminiscent of that PS3 pink controller that I have. That glossy pink, as well. No, I think the main reason was screen brightness. I wanted to make sure I got something that has some brightness on it, just in case I was playing in weird spots. Yeah, I didn't want to go. I wanted the kind of closer to the original form factor. And in case I wanted a UMD, just in case, I wanted to watch like Bad Boys 1 UMD, you know?
Yeah. Get a copy of South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I have 3 PSPs now at this point. My first one was the Go, and I love the Go, but I think you made the right call. I love the 1000. That's the most recent one I've bought, and I like the weight of it a lot, and I like that it has the kind of like bumps on the back to hold. But the 3000 model is just so light, I love the screen on that thing. Yeah, I think you made the right call. I think it's a solid machine. What do you like about it so far?
I like the form factor. I like the I like the way the shoulder buttons feel. I've gotten somehow used to this little weird nubby. It's not even a joystick, like a thumb flat stick. I don't know what
the analog slider or analog thumbstick. I forget.
That makes sense. The slider. Yeah, I kind of like the feel of that a little bit. I like all the way all the buttons feel, but I'm usually a fan of a dual shock or dual sense through the ages. Man, I miss that XMB bar.
It's so good, dude, isn't it?
How in the world do I pick this up and I know where everything is instantly, and I still can't find shit on my PlayStation 5?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Network settings, I knew exactly where to go. I knew even like the general area, if not the exact spot where it would be on that list. Like it's beautiful. I knew.
You know what's baffling to me? When I see people complain about the XMB, they
Why?
dislike it. I don't know.
Because the PS3 can't load it? That's the PS3's problem, not the XMB.
All right, Reggie. Yeah, it's good.
It's the XMB is great to be back in that.
Yeah.
But no, I like the form factor. I wish I had a little bit more weight, but I'm not complaining about it either. But no, I think the screen's great. I like the different brightness settings. They're all like, it's not like a toggle. It's just like 3 different settings, and they're all like the right. I've used each one in different scenarios, so I know they're right on the money. No. The only thing I wish, I think the only downfall was I wish I could do a picture-in-picture of an instruction manual for a game when I'm polite. When I don't know what the hell's going on during Metal Gear Acid.
That's the one benefit of playing games on Vita that have an instruction manual included, is like you can always pop that up. Yeah. What was the first game you played on your PSP?
Oh, the first game, I don't remember because I did a lot of blitzing. It was a lot of like, touch this. I would not be shocked if it was the Jackass game. Just to start down a rabbit hole and knowing full well probably would not spend more than 20 minutes in this.
What is the Jackass game? What does that entail?
Oh, it's just the gang going through the wild antics, and you gotta do them in a 3-star, 2-star, or 1-star way, and
right at home on the PSP.
I don't know if I did more than 2. To be,
I wouldn't blame you.
Outside of that, I touched all the sports games. Took a few snaps as the Ravens in a Madden. I don't know which one. Madden 10. I hit took a few at-bats with the Orioles in MLB The Show.
Oh. How did that go? I'm curious, like, what was the show experience like?
It weirdly, like, I think it feels how it's supposed to feel. Like, late PS2 to, like, early PS3, kind of. Yeah. Like, it's weird to go back to them per se after playing the PS5 ones for as many hours as I have at this point, but it's fine. It works. If I was playing this alongside with like the PS2 PS3 one, it would have felt like right at home. I'm unfortunately not gonna be able to like do the save transfer stuff that whatever, but they were fine. Also dabbled in NFL Street for a few snaps as well. And then I played like a match or two of Virtua Tennis 3. The same.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I know that was like my big blitz at the beginning. But I think the one I ended up landing on, and like the one that I sank some serious time into, was Rock Band Unplugged.
You really did take to that, yeah.
It's just a spiritual sequel to
Guitar Hero.
Amplitude. Yeah. It's perfect. And then like they have all the Rock Band stuff in it too, like the World Tour mode where like they give you the different playlists and you have to go through this different cities and stuff like that. It's not like the classic Guitar Hero where it's like set 1, beat all the levels, and you're on a set 2.
Yeah.
So like it throws in songs quickly at you with like a range of different things to play. I was having a lot of fun with it. I stopped playing it when it got to the more difficult stuff. I was going between hard and expert. I was having fun there. But no, that was probably the one I sank the most time into, like at the start.
Yeah, you piqued my interest on that one. I forgot about those games. I remember playing the DS one with the little stupid add-on, but yeah. What have you currently been playing on PSP?
Oh, all right. I dived into a hole, and I would say this will probably be my third favorite game over Final Fantasy 14, technically, but yes. I was saving it for this. Persona 3 Portable.
You're in. Yeah,
I'm in.
Of course.
I've been doing like a couple days a night when I do, like, I'm not playing this every day, but I'm playing it like every other day maybe. And I've been doing it like a couple days and a good Tataris run, and then like that's my play session, putting it down and then pick it back up. And like there's I think going into a Persona game, I knew I'd always just be like, fuck the guides and your trophies. I'm just it's gonna be my run. Playing on the PSP just helps that because there's no trophies, which I think is like the first time I'm glad I'm saying that there's no trophies in the game. And no, it's interesting. I I kind of hinted at it last week with the Ape Escape, the assault rifles. Holy hell, they just shoot themselves in the head for their persona.
Yeah, dude.
It's very appalling. And now I'm on the couch, like finger gunning to my head and yelling persona, and Victoria's looking at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm summoning a persona. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And like there's a weird attention to detail to all the different styles to doing it. It is bizarre.
Yeah, dude, there's older Persona games, like they've gotten away from some of that stuff. They also, like, you were texting me about the, like, you know, phases of the moon in the game, and like they've gotten away from that in the more recent games, which is a shame. They have weather in Persona 5. But yeah, like the old SMT and all that stuff, like the moon dictated a lot about, you know, a day in Persona.
Yeah, but no, I've fully gotten like lost in it. I see the Shin Megami Tensei lineage now, like easy as day. And it's like it's still like a Pokemon game, but it's not like you're the Pokemon in a weird way.
Yeah, you're
and
the Pokemon that can cycle through powers or something.
Yeah, and now I'm an electric type. Now I'm a light type. Like whatever.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, it's right at home because like the battle system, it's very similar. It's like if you strike a weakness, you get to go again. They do it a tiny bit differently. Like you can't just keep, like if you attack the same enemy, you just kind of can't keep going. Which I guess SMT3 does that too, where you just can't keep going. No, it's it's clicking. I just like the idea of like it's Sunday and you're gonna tell your character to play an MMORPG, and then there it is. You get a new tick in your social link because you got the hermit persona type now. Like, all right, great.
Yeah, those I'm happy that those are all popular now, that we're gonna keep seeing Persona games.
Yeah.
What in 2024 is difficult about playing a PSP?
Probably actually getting the games that aren't just like emulations. Like,
yeah,
you're looking at UMD for Bad Boys.
Yeah, and I think like at some point for me, like plugging in my Go to the PS3 to transfer purchases broke because now there's like newer two-factor security on my account, that like all of that stuff made it impossible to transfer those games and do that stuff. It's not. It would be nice if you could just open store, click buy, and you know what I mean, like if that would be ideal.
But like that, I mean, as far as it's weird to go back to a game or two. I don't think I've played anything where like maybe Logan Shadow is like the one exception, but we talked about the control scheme and I ended up liking it. But like there hasn't been anything yet where I wish there was that second stick that I'm used to on a Vita. But that's the only thing. And again, I haven't come across anything where I'm like really clamoring for that right stick yet.
I'm curious, thinking of last week, that they did port Ape Escape to PSP, and I've never looked into how that plays because I don't.
Oh yeah,
exactly, right? Like, what do you? I imagine the only thing you could do is make it so that like when you pull one of the triggers, that's what activates. Like, you probably plant your feet and then. Anyway, I'm getting. But yeah, you're right. You do get used to that slider in things. There was some game I was playing on there. Wipeout, where I found myself like naturally just using that, and like it was more comfortable than the other thing, the D-pad. What's been the most rewarding aspect of playing the console in 2024?
I've been saying I've been playing a PSP to people at work, and they're like looking at me like I have 3 heads.
Yeah.
That's been fun. Honestly, it's the XMB is like part of it. Like going back to it's been nice. Like I said, I haven't experienced everything yet in the catalog. But like, you know, I've liked everything I've played so far. It's like unique enough from its like console counterpart for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say. I mean, again, this is like a newer console, so it's not like I got this history richness. I've seen the starts of Phantasy Star like on Sega, or Final Fantasy on Nintendo, but like I don't know. I like the idea of like it was like shooting for this secondary console experience, but like a lot of the games had to like bend their mechanics enough to fit the PSP. Yeah. It's been weird to kind of see some of that already, and then
because it's a lost art, factor. Right? Like, the form factor is great, but no, like we don't have that anymore. The Switch changed that forever. Now it's just everything is portable, and it sucks. And like, I think we're seeing a lot of people with a similar like sentiment in the last few years. Just that, like, I don't know, with remote play, with streaming to your phone, all that stuff, like, has made it just so that, like, you kind of can play anything anywhere, and they don't design games the same way for portable as they used to. Yeah, and you're getting to, like, go through all that. It's a lot of fun to explore.
One difficulty I forgot to mention, Bluetooth headphones. It's weird to find a pair of wired headphones. I have a good pair, but
yeah,
I have to keep that in mind when I bring this places.
Yeah, that sucks. Do you feel like do you like throwing it in a bag and taking it with you if you go somewhere?
I have, like, I don't like take it with me to like that kind of stuff. It was easy to like know. It's much easier to pack this than a Switch when I was traveling.
Yeah.
And it's easy enough to like whip out and whatever. No, I mean, like I said, it's not like I'm bringing it like everywhere and like playing it every chance I get like on the road, but it's a lot easier to like. God, if I was like driving, we're out of Caps season now, but like if I was driving down with my parents to DC for a Caps game, it's a lot easier to hide a PSP in a car in a parking garage than a Switch.
Yeah. I guess. So far, who has made the best games for your platform? Which developer? Is it first party stuff, third party stuff? Is it?
I don't know. I don't think I've touched a lot of the first party stuff yet. Like, I know there's more out there. I've just scratched the surface. I guess my favorite game is Persona, so like.
Go Atlas.
Yeah, right. Like, but like, but to that credit though, like, yeah, Persona. I'm playing Persona 3 Portable, but like, the best game on Vita, everyone says, is Persona 4 Golden. Like, that is like de facto number one on every single list I've ever seen for Vita.
Yeah. PSP's also got 1 and 2 on there as well, which I'm about. I don't know, quarter way into 1. 1's really good.
Seems like 3 is my jumping off point for Atlas. So whatever series they have, a 3 is next. SMT 3, Persona 3.
Yeah, that's. I didn't even think about that. I guess last 2 questions. Which game do you still want to play more of? Obviously, you're playing Persona 3, but what's the thing that you're like, the next big thing that you're like, all right, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna play this.
Shit. I forgot to write it down. I had an answer because something's not on my PSP yet that I need to get on it to play. And then I think another game I do want to see is Killzone.
Oh yeah.
There's Killzone, and then I do have Daxter on here too. I don't know how much I'll play of it, but I do want to like get a good sense of how that game plays.
Yeah, people love Daxter. I never played that one, but I know that was very, very well liked. And do you think that playing the PSP has changed or will change your gaming interest or your habits with gaming?
I've finally like done like the second screen in the living room that I've always said I wanted to do with the Switch, and I just never have done it. Like playing Persona. Like, the last 2 weeks when I played Persona has not been, like, I'm by myself just, like, playing it. It's been Victoria's in the living room. She is usually something she has on. I'm just playing Persona and listening to whatever. Probably something that's killing my brain cells with her.
And just letting yourself roll through the
may as well
high school all over
again. May as well reenact the killing of my brain cells by pulling the trigger on my face to activate my persona.
Spawn succubus. I get it. Are you happy you got a PSP?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, there's not much more to say. Yes.
Do you think you'd buy another PSP?
No.
Just one's good?
I think I'm a one of each kind of person. Like, just, I don't need, I'm not chasing a PS5 Slim over here just because I need it, you know?
No, but there's a difference between,
Fair, but no, I think,
you can accessorize, you know what I mean?
If I was to get, like, another handheld, I think I would get, like, the original Vita with the OLED screen. But I'm chasing...
Yeah.
What everyone else is chasing.
I'm chasing the other Vita.
The Slim?
Yeah. Every couple months I open up an eBay page and look at the khaki one from Japan to import that one. That was just like black with khaki back. They made some good colors that they only released over there that we didn't get here that were just real good looking. But
I'm very happy I got the last pink from the shipper that I got.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was legit the last one.
Yeah.
Because once I ordered it, it was grayed out.
I love that a lot. Well, you had to do that because, unfortunately, when we went shopping for our Xbox and PSP, the local shop we went to did not have any PSPs in stock. But I did walk out on night one with a fat new Xbox and a couple of games. So they did. I
would say you missed the golden opportunity though. For just $150 more or whatever the fuck, you could have had the Halo green one.
I had seen that Halo green one in there before that day, and I always thought about getting it, but man, it's just too expensive.
It's
so cool looking, and the controller's right there, but it's just like for the price difference, it was something like whatever I had budgeted to buy an Xbox and some games.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
That console would have like been more than my budget by like $50 or something. So for less than what that console was, I got an Xbox, and I don't even remember what I walked out with that night. Truly. Halo 1, 2, and Mech Assault, maybe? Because I did Halo 1 and 2, and then I did the grab 3. They were buy 2, get 1.
Yes.
It was NBA 2K3, ESPN, NHL 2K5, and Amped freestyle snowboarding. That was the one. Did I also get Project Gotham Racing that night, or was that after?
I know that was like on your radar to get. I don't remember you walking out with that though.
Obviously, I wanted Halo, but this was like the one. I remembered being like, I want that Project Gotham Racing, and I got it, and I liked it. I think this was the first game I played, if not Halo, just to see what Halo felt like. Holding the Duke and doing all that, but yeah, otherwise Project Gotham Racing was a close second since then. And I've just been buying stuff, man. Like, I got me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 Xbox games. 17, technically, because one of these is a 2-in-1. You got your Sega GT 2002 and Jet Set Radio Future.
Oh, look at that.
I know. It was in a box that says not for resale. Because this was like a pack-in they did one year where it was like you bought a console and they put these two games together in the thing. don't resell them. So now, 20 years later, we just resell it.
Dang.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like the Xbox a lot. I think it's like cool when you boot up the console and the whole like obviously
Flubber.
the loading is rad, huh?
You got like flubber bursting.
The flubber bursting, yeah. Like just all that greenness to it is really cool. The main menu is really rad. My particular console is extra special because whoever owned it before me, they burned a couple of CDs and left them on the hard drive when they traded it in that I bought. So in case you need the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou soundtrack.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that one.
Some Chemical Brothers, some Hank Williams Sr., or some... There's like another like... It's like some... It was like a Screamo band, or like even pre-Screamo kind of thing that I just heard it and I was like, oh, okay. It's like, it's not Thursday, but it's giving me Thursday vibes whenever I hear it. Or you know what? I think Thursday is on there too. So there's that. Yeah. I don't know. It's a...
I didn't check. I should have maybe checked the rest of the XMB. I just checked the game data, and it was a lot of Monster Hunter stuff in my PSP, and like the and the SD card thing. It's not SD card, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the Memory Card Pro.
Yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to buy a PSP from Japan that doesn't come with a memory card that has Monster Hunter save data. I think that's just...
So what? I have a theory with the music. Do you think like someone was trying to get their dad to play Grand Theft Auto like 3 or Vice City with them, and the only way they could get it is if they use the burned in music so they could put on the radio for them as they drove around?
I think that's a possibility. I think also like I remember being a kid and having CDs, and like my brother and I had our own CD collections, and then we had like CDs that were in the living room, and like that assortment was just a mess because it was just like whatever random we had the Oh Brother, Where Art Thou soundtrack, of course. Who didn't? You had like when you got too cool to have the Backstreet Boys CD in your collection, it went into the living room collection because you moved on to Stain.
So who had Reba?
My mom. Everybody had Reba, right? Like that was. So I could see it very much being like, well, this Xbox lets me import CDs. These are the CDs that are closest to me. They're the family CDs. Let me just put them on. Okay. But I also see a world where it could have been like, no, Dad, it's fine. I'm listening to Hank Williams. Again. Ignore the screams. But that's a cool thing. Like, that's a thing. I don't think anybody uses it today at all, which you can like hook up your streaming services to these consoles now and do whatever. But like, it is so rad that you could pop a CD in, burn it to the Xbox, and then play a game with that as your soundtrack. Like
that was one of my favorite things to do in MLB The Show when I got on PS3. I would put a bunch of music on my PlayStation 3, and like every week or so, I would change the walk-up music for my dude. In MLB The Show. Yeah, it's such a rad feature that like so underutilized, and yeah, it was a really really neat thing. I think I still haven't done it. I haven't taken the time because I have CDs in the attic still, and I haven't dug them out to go do that. But I've thought about it. To join Hank Williams, I hope, right? Oh, I would never erase. Yeah, no, not at all. In fact, like I'm a little worried about this. So like I'm jumping ahead here in terms of like the difficult parts of playing this console. But like for me, the difficult thing about this is nothing. Granted, I already did all of the work to get everything set up. But like if you want to play this in the modern era, one, I'll just put this out there for anybody, any console you're trying to play, retrorgb.com. Bob does excellent work over there with doing all of the testing for all of the latency, for every cable, for every configuration. If you've not gone there for something, if you're tangentially curious about collecting retro games, please go to RetroRGB, because plugging something into your modern flat panel TV is going to be a bad experience if you don't have the right setup. And I think that's the thing that I ran into years ago. The first time I like
grabbed my N64 and just plugged it into the back of a TV, it just looked and ran like garbage. And it's so important to have the right setup so that these things still work and function the way that you remember them functioning. So I'd already done that through the years to make sure I had all the correct things to plug into a TV to make the Xbox work. So I would say that's a difficult part. But the other difficult part, if you don't have those things set up, is like, this thing's got a hard drive on it, and I don't know the life of it. I don't know if it's going to die. I don't know if I'm going to lose all my saves. So like, there's those types of things where I kind of feel compelled to buy another hard drive and do a swap on it. I also know that the Xbox is prone to capacitor leak, and I don't know if when I bought it they'd already replaced the capacitor. I didn't ask that question, or that stuff's tough. So there's like some just general maintenance concerns, but in terms of like put in a game, play it, it's excellent. It's a great experience. I love the controller. I do love the Duke, but I will say that when I bought Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X, which everyone knows how much I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I'd never played 2X, and 2X is wild because it's not quite the 3 engine, but the models look more like 3 do.
Okay.
It has all of the levels from Tony Hawk 1 and 2, and then bonus levels that are exclusive to this version of the game that have never been repurposed in any other game or re-release. There's one in a nightclub in London. It's insane. It only has 5 challenges instead of 10. It's a wild, weird game. But playing Tony Hawk 2X with the Duke's D-pad not only was not fun, but I was completely missing all of my inputs. Like it just rolls too much to be precise. Now that I have I got a couple things. So I bought the Retro Fighters Hunter controller, which is actually compatible with Switch and PC as well. It's good. It's got good clicks. It feels nice. It's a nice shape. It's kind of like the S controller, but a little bit. It's actually more like the Switch Pro controller shape-wise. It has some weird connectivity things sometimes where like it just forgets that it exists. So that part I don't love. But otherwise it feels good generally to use. And this was the first thing that let me feel like okay playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X. But then I did find the 1S controller, or not the 1S controller, just the S controller. And it's been a good time. I like the way that one feels. Everything runs right on that. Otherwise, dude, like, I love it. I love the menu. I love every time I like boot up a thing. There's little subtle things too, where like the PS2, you hit the eject button and your disc pops out, and then like, but it's still kind of running because it like loaded some of it to memory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's like weird things, but like this, when you pop the tray out, like it just turns off. And like, I've never done it unintentionally. I've always done it intentionally, but I like that it goes back to the main menu. You don't have to like reset the console. In fact, I don't think there's a reset button on it. Just those little things. The controller wires are super long, so I can sit on the couch and play comfortably from across the room, which was always like their selling point, or a selling point of the Xbox back in the day. But like actually being able to take advantage of that in 2024 is a neat thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like went back and rewatched that Xbox documentary they put out just to like feel the excitement of the.
I was thinking about watching that not too long ago again.
You should, dude, because Xbox has had a rough couple of months, and this was like a nice reminder of like why Xbox was cool, or watching that was. I mean, but yeah, also like I don't want to blow up my spot here, but typically Xbox games were the unfavored versions of releases back then, so you can find a lot of the stuff that you'd otherwise find on PS2 or GameCube that might be a little bit higher, and you can find it for cheaper. Like, we're doing Soul Calibur 2 in a couple weeks for the podcast, and I got the Xbox version for like nothing, like $5 or something. Maybe the PS2 version is the same, I don't know, but I'm sure the GameCube version, because GameCube stuff's just always high, but this was easy. I don't know. I like it. There's a good flavor and like attitude about it too. I really like just like what it feels like to play an Xbox. It's cool. I think so far Sega makes the best games on this platform, but that's because I've mostly played Sega games on this platform.
Well, you got Shenmue 2 on there too.
That's true. I gotta track down a copy of that. I got to beat the first one first, but yeah. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Gun Valkyrie, and I want to play more of that as we move forward here. I want to play more of Jet Set Radio Future, but we are doing Jet Set Radio, or is it? I always get it screwed up. Jet Grind Radio.
Yeah.
We're doing Jet Grind Radio on the podcast later this year, so I'm trying not to play too much of Jet Set and get used to the changes they make for the Xbox version before playing its predecessor on Dreamcast. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Sega moved all of its development stuff, or a lot of it, over here. I'd already played some Panzer Dragoon Orta on the Xbox Series X or the Xbox One, so I don't have a physical disc. I just have it digitally through there, but I do want to get that and play through more of that on the original. But my favorite thing so far, I think, is the fact that in 2024, I was able to buy a brand new shrink-wrapped video game for $30 or something. And I bought Justice League Heroes. So I got to have the experience of opening a brand new game and smelling a brand new game from 2005. And I dig this game a lot. Justice League Heroes it's a fun little, it's from the team that made Baldur's Gate stuff, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. So it has this really deep, robust RPG system with leveling up the characters, where you're putting skill points into all of their moves and their overall being. It's cool. It's a rad little beat 'em up kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. The other ones I bought Bloodwake, but I've not played Bloodwake yet. For those who've not, Bloodwake is Twisted Metal, but with boats set in an Asian kind of. I can't remember if it's on Earth or not, but it's definitely inspired by that. I also have Mech Assault, which I've never played a Mech Assault, and I kind of want to see what that's all about. And then finally, I think the only other one I haven't spent any time with, but I bought it day one, was Oddworld Munch's Odyssey, because that was always the game I wanted to buy an Xbox for as a kid. I wanted that, but I've already played it more recently. I've played through the opening, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours of that game, so it's too fresh. But I do want to spend time with that and go back to it. But yeah, man, Xbox rules. I'm super happy I bought it. I think everybody should buy an Xbox. And it's been fun to just have a reason to pop into stores and see if they've got anything cool. You know what I mean? I've had PS2 and Dreamcast for, forever. And other platforms, retro platforms, but I've not felt compelled to just wander. I have, but there's a new itch about the Xbox for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah, it's been a good time. I guess let's talk about what's coming for season 12 a little bit while we get ready and close this one out.
Yeah.
We won't spoil everything that we've got coming up, but honestly, there's not much left to spoil. We're coming in close to having everything basically announced for the rest of the year. Next week, podcast-wise, on Monday, Batman for the Nintendo Entertainment System hits its 35th. Well, the movie hits its 35th anniversary on the 23rd. So on the 24th, we'll have an episode ranking that. But the night before, on the 23rd, come over to twitch.tv/thefreecheese, because Matt and I are going to be racing one another, trying to see who's the better speedrunner in Sunsoft's Batman for NES. So come back and check that out. Then we're doing a cool, weird episode talking about Digimon. I bought myself and Matt and Mark the Digimon Digivice for the 20th anniversary. So we're going to do an episode talking about those things. we'll slowly over the next few months have the part 2s and the final part of Halo's discussion but all of our Wii Sports killers, Pokemon Gold and Silver, Tetris Effect, Super Mario Galaxy 2. But yeah, is there anything on the list, Matt, that you're like most excited about playing or talking about, or both?
All of October.
Yeah. I think we revealed all of October on the stream last.
I was trying to think. I feel like we said it on the stream. Yeah, we can just leave it there. But yeah, all of October. I think I'm like super curious and excited and whatever. And I haven't started any of the games. I actually just bought one of them today.
Nice. I've only started the last one just because I wanted to see.
Okay.
How that I've played that. A different version of that game, but I'd not played that version that we're playing, so I wanted to see how it ran, and it's sick. Yeah, October will be fun.
October's gonna be fun, and then I just like how we got little like pockets too now, like kind of lean into October. September's a little weird, but like July definitely has a theme. August seems to have a theme for the most part, and then October has a theme for sure.
Yeah. I'm excited to finally see Bully.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me calling out Bully. But I'm stoked. Like, that game is just like not eluded me, but like I never rented it back in the day. I remember it coming out and checking it out and like seeing it at Blockbuster, but like never feeling like I wanted to rent it or buy it, and it just passed me by. But yeah, that should be a fun one.
I just bought that. That was on sale not too long ago. Loading up, ready for that one.
Yeah, I'm super stoked on those. And then we mentioned Jet Grind Radio. I've played Jet Grind on Vita a good bit, and I have it on Dreamcast, and I've played I think about the same amount. Like I got to the same part on Dreamcast that I ever did on Vita. So I'm looking forward to finishing that and getting past like the hump that I get stuck at every time I play it. That should be a fun time. There's one I'm concerned about that I put on the list for mid-September, just in terms of just because the servers are offline on that one.
Oh right, yeah,
but we'll see. See how that one goes.
I remember, though. I mean, I didn't play it that much, but I remember.
Yeah, we'll be able to. We'll make it work for sure. Yeah, and then it's a little bit later, but towards the end of the year, we're gonna do some PlayStation anniversary stuff because there's stuff, man. There's the 30th anniversary of PlayStation. It's the 20th anniversary of PSP. So we'll be celebrating. I don't know that they'll be celebrating, but we sure will.
Well, Herman's got the wheel now, right?
No, he's got the co-wheel, dude. Remember? It's
right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're doing the yeah.
They're doing the Jim and the Ryan. I get it.
Jim and the Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Michael.
2 names. Yeah, you gotta.
Oh, the Jim and I gotcha. But yeah, season 12's shaking out to be a different and weird one, and it's fun. I'm also, this is not, this is way off there, but I'm also excited because at some point in the next few months, Matt and I are going to start we're going to start seriously planning out season 13, and that the planning stuff for that is always a fun mess for us. So anyway,
I think I have more games than are allowed on my list right now.
You finally made it.
I sure do. Some of these are easy cuts, though. Looking back in hindsight.
How many do you have now?
$20 even.
That's fine. Okay, I have 30 even right now. So, I just thought of something for. All right, see, this is the fun part. I'm already planning the planning. I gotta make a note on how I'm gonna announce one of these games to you. I gotta jot that down. That's the downside for the listener that they don't get to see. We make these complicated presentations just for one another that we never publish. But it's a ton of fun just to see all of the
I need the games, and I need to get a script, and then but like I might have to ask for permission for a 30 to 40 minute video. I'm not sure. After last year, you've got my attention. So you take as long as you need. You want to go full Scorsese and hit me with a 30 or 3.5 hour thing? I'm here, man. I'm not doing that. I don't think I have the time to edit that together.
Yeah, it's a good time. We'll talk after. I got an idea, actually.
Oh God.
Anyway, yeah. So season 12 so far. We'll be back next week with Batman, but don't forget to come back Sunday night, twitch.tv/thefreecheese. We'll be there at 0 beats or 7 o'clock Eastern if you must. Until then, it's been a good season 12 so far. Thanks for hanging out with us. Podcast@thefreecheese.com is the email address. I've been Joe. That's been Matt. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. We'll see you next time.